back to competitive air gunning. What does it mean to lap your scope rings? A lot of people have heard the term, some haven't. So we're going to go over what it means to lap your scope rings and realign them or true them up. With a lapping kit, like this one here, this is a Wheeler, and it comes with this is actually a 30 millimeter and a 1 inch, but they come with alignment bars or alignment rods, and these will drop in here into your scope rings, and you will tighten them up just a smidge and get them as close as you can to touch, and you'll be able to see how far off these scope rings are. Depending on how far off they are will depend on how your scope can perform, or whether you can damage it, whether you can chase your tail on point of impact moving around. Some of these have got crosshairs pretty close to the outside here, so if you get your rings close there and you start deforming this tube at all, you can actually cause your crosshairs to wiggle between shots. You can also damage your internals, you can deform your tube, you can scratch it. On bigger calibers, you can cause your scope to move back and forth just from the recoil. When you lap these, you're essentially truing them up all the way so you get perfect surface area contact all the way around your scope. And that will help ensure that your optic does exactly what it was intended to do and keeps you from having issues out in the field or in the woods. So that being said, you get the alignment bars, you have some lapping compound, which is essentially just some abrasive compound that will go on your lapping rod. So this here, rod here, once you decide that you are good to go ahead and adjust these, and you do need to adjust them, then you'll essentially drop this down in here, tighten it up, tighten your rings up just a little bit to where you can move this back and forth. And you're gonna move it back and forth, maybe turn it if you want, and you're essentially just going to remove just a little bit of surface area off of these, you know, the high spots, to get everything perfect. It is kind of messy, so I brought some gloves down with me, and you want to have a couple paper towels to clean up, maybe some cleaner. I know this isn't an air gun. This is actually a CZ 527 in a 17 Hornet, and this thing is nasty. But the reason I'm doing this versus one of my air guns is because I've already did my air guns, and I've been sick here the past week, and I really haven't been able to leave the house much because just haven't been feeling good. And then today's been a rainy day, so I figured I'd try and do something constructive while I'm stuck here at the house. So that being said, let's get this party going. The other thing you want to make sure you do is when you're putting all this stuff back together, you want to make sure you're tightening your scope rings properly, torquing them down right. That makes a big difference on making sure everything does what it's supposed to do as well. So I already know that this is off. It's not off by much, so I'm not too worried about getting crazy. I will adjust this a little bit just to clean it up for you guys. And the other thing you'll want to do, you want to mark your scope rings so you know which ones go where. Because what you take off of this one may be different than what you take off of this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark each one of these so I know exactly which ones go where. And this one will be the back. So I'll just put one line there on that one, and I'll put two little marks on this one here so I know it's the front and I can see which way it's facing. So I know my marks are going to be pointing this way. So this is number 1 and this is number 2. We'll go ahead and put a little lapping compound on here. I said, this stuff gets stuff's almost like anti-seize trying to get it off of you. But it's a really simple process to do. Doesn't take hardly any time at all. Like I said, you can protect your investments. You don't want to be out there and have something fail, or have to send something in for warranty work and find out that the damage was self-inflicted, and now they may or may not cover it under warranty. Let's go ahead and get these in there. Now I'm just going to tighten these down just enough where I can still turn this bar. And then as it loosens up a little bit and frees up, then I'll tighten it up just a little bit more, and I'll take off just a little bit more surface area. Now this is one of those things that you can do to a gun that not everybody's going to agree with. They'll tell you that they've never had issues, it's not needed, but it may not be needed. That's the joy of using the alignment rods, is you can tell right out the gate whether it's needed or not. But after you see what people go through when their scope fails, and you see deformed tubes, and you see the scopes walking where they have to put stuff down on their scope rings just to try and get the scope to get more friction so it can't walk, and you see point of impacts moving around, you realize that it does happen. Move this. Try to get some of this. Try to get some of that stuff off of there. I like to put it on the top there first, so I can try and get some of the compound moved out of the way before I start from the back. I'll go ahead and flip this little baby around. I'm just going to work this back and forth. Yeah, I'm starting to free up already. It don't take much. Usually the scope rings, unless you're running something, $5 from Walmart, they're usually always going to be fairly close, so it's going to be just a smidge. And the other thing is with two-piece bases, it may not even be your scope rings that are a problem. It could be your scope bases might just be a thousandths off that's causing that can be causing some kind of issue. So that's the other thing you got to watch for as well. There's just so much to these guns. You want everything to perform flawless for you. Back this up just a little bit. I added just a little bit too much friction here. Let's try again. And the reason you want to do the whole bar like this is you'll wear yourself into spots. So if you just stick to one spot and spin it around and back and forth, then you'll have spots in the middle that are lower and higher, so you won't really be able to do this and get full strokes. Plus it's a little bit faster. Plus it's just a little bit faster whenever you can do the whole bar. It's like a and I'd say we're just about done. Back it a little bit more here. We're ready to clean up and put this gun back together. There it is. So we'll run this a couple more times here. That should be good. There wasn't a whole lot on this one, so we'll go ahead and take it out. Clean this stuff up. And then we'll check with the alignment bars, and we'll see how close we are. There wasn't a whole lot of material that needed to be taken off of this, so should have got it pretty quick. want to make sure you get all of this stuff off of here. Make sure you clean them up real good. Doesn't hurt anything. Definitely doesn't hurt anything to make sure you get it all off. So, we got that one. So we know this one here is number 1. Here. So I know this one here is going to face that way. And this one is going to face this way. And just like that. Make sure. Yep, just like that. We're ready to put the scope back on. Well, or I mean not back on. We're ready to check the alignment here. So what we're going to set these in here. Put something in there with you. Missed a little bit there. There's some oil bars here. So I'm gonna set these on here. Two. Go there. Sorry about that. Just like that, we're done. So on lapping scope rings, like I said, it's not for everybody. You'll get a lot of people who, like I said, don't believe in it, don't think it's good, don't think it works. Never had an issue with anything, so why change? Is it for everybody? No. Am I going to continue to do it? Absolutely. So that being said, I hope you guys learned something. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask away in the comments. Other than that, best of luck out on the range and make some impacts.